Shabbat Shalom. Thanks for tuning in. Pray that you're doing well in the midst of these tribulatory times on the geoengineering and storms. One side of the country is on fire, the other side is under snow and ice. But we must endure until the end. You know, I don't like to come on the Shabbat to talk about current events, but I will say this, because I was trying to decide if I want to do a breakdown of Revelations 13 and 14. That's where we are. And that's what you've been seeing every day on the news with all the announcements of the executive orders and transitions, the laws being enforced, these tech CEOs and celebrities all front and center stage. It's all in Revelations 13 and 14. And you need discernment. You need discernment, period, if you're going to endure until the end. When Revelations 13 talks about the beast, the transitions of power. You see people bringing tech CEOs into power over governance. You see stages being set for the infrastructure of the beast system being set, where Revelations 13 talks about the first beast giving power to the second beast, who says, worship the first beast, and makes this image of the first beast and says the whole world should worship this beast because who can make war with the beast? That's what you've been seeing. Hostile takeover of companies, hostile takeover of countries being talked about. The stage is being set, and we're fully immersed into what is known as the tribulation, and nobody wants to believe it because you all want more time. You got so many plants on YouTube trying to delay the time, lie to you, false prophets. If the girl said somebody was going to be president, they're not president, and she was off, she's a false prophet. And that's just one example. It's time to grow up, wake up, smell the coffee, and move into what we're supposed to be into right now. Now, I'm not here to contribute to the fear frequency. That's why the title of this discourse is Fear Not. And we're going to talk about that. But I just wanted to say, if I was going to say anything about current events, it would be a breakdown of Revelations 13 and Revelations 14, which you should go into and look at. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. That's in Revelations 13 and 10. The 42 months of this rule and reign and dominance of power, that's talked about. And this is worldwide, the impact of what you're seeing scripted out on television every day. That's where we are. And what we're going to get into is Isaiah, the 43rd chapter, with our discourse about fearing not. But the main thing I want you to know is that we need to press forward, look forward, and we have no time to play Lot's wife and look backwards. Be careful of the reminiscing. All of this is going to be covered in Isaiah 43. Reminiscing, holding on to the past, scared of the future. The frequency is so prevalent in people's consciousness about fear. And it's like you're having to push it back every day. And the only way you're going to really be able to push it back is by truly finding a place, a secret place in Yah, where you can rejoice, find joy, and create your own existing. That's why I say exist. Be present in the now of where you are and count your blessings and dwell in the secret place. You must exist. 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 Count it all joy. My Yah shall supply all my needs according to his riches in glory through Yahushua HaMashiach. Yeshua, our salvation is on the way. And the thing to remember is that it's not the end of the world. This is a gestation period. The birth pains are beginning. And time for Esau's rule is coming to a close. And we're moving into Jacob's time. The meek are about to inherit the earth. That's where we are. You know, Revelations 13 also talked about the fact that the beast wants to make war against the saints. Those are the Yashuralites spoken of in Psalms 138. But it says he also wants to make war with those that are in heaven. Do you know those are the people that are spoken of in Jude, that Yeshua will come back with 10,000 of his saints? Enoch, the 39th chapter, speaks of the fact that the saints are in their chambers in the third heaven expanse, and they are actually praying for us and interceding for us to make it and endure. That's Enoch 39 and the book of Jude, which is only one chapter. That there will be a return, because see, man is appointed to die once, not twice, no reincarnation. Then comes a judgment. And then there's the waiting place. And the waiting place is the place where Yeshua went. He said, I go away to prepare a place for you, that where I am, you may be also. In my Father's house, Yahuwah, are many mansions. And if it were not so, I wouldn't have told you so. They are there residing in New Jerusalem, which will come down once this is over and we move into the millennial reign. So this beast, with their Star Wars and their Stargate, thinks they will ascend above the firmament and make war with the Father, because they were sent down here covered with the firmament after the first war of the angels. And we come down given choice to make a decision on who we will serve. Jeremiah 1:5, before you were formed in your mother's belly, I knew you, called you, sanctified you to be a prophet unto the nations. Enoch, the 39th chapter, the children that were with the Father, and he knew them, he sent them down to mingle with the children of men. Once you were born, your soul inhabited the body that was given to you, that was appointed for you. And then you come to the valley of decisions to make a decision. Who will you serve? And will you keep your name in the Lamb's book of life? Or will it be blotted out? Because you didn't overcome Hashatan and the temptation of this world. And the only way you can do that is by becoming a lawful citizen of the kingdom of heaven. And how do you do that? By keeping the laws. 1 John 2:3, for we hereby do know that we know him, Yah, if we keep his commandments. For if you say you love him and you keep not his commandments, you are a liar and the truth is not in you. Psalms 19:7, the law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul of the sinner and making wise the simple. The law of Yahuwah. Hallelujah. Times out for using Lord, using God, using Jesus. These are false, antichrist, satanic words. If you've learned the truth, it's time to move on. It's not a translation. They tried to blot out the true name of our coming Savior and his Father, who's separate from him, Yahuwah. When you hear people saying that name God, they're talking about Satan. G-A-W-D. You see that in 2 Corinthians, the 4th chapter, whom the gods of this world, 2 Corinthians 4:4, whom the gods of this world hath blinded the minds of them. These people are worshiping Hashatan, who promised he would be worshiped in this earth through various religions. In Isaiah, the 14th chapter, he said, I will be worshiped. And that's what we see right now. So that's one of the ways that you're being deceived, by seeing people say, we thank God and God saved me and God did. They're talking about the God that they serve in this world, the one who they sacrifice people to for fame and money and power and lust. So we don't fear anything. And listen, look at this. It's already the end of January. It seems like the year turned around just yesterday, just last week. And it's already the end of January. And guess what? I thank Yah for that, because it is an actual, tangible sign that he's with us, because he said, if I don't shorten the days, no flesh will be saved, meaning will be alive for me to come back for, because Satan is trying to destroy and kill everyone. And that's what they're doing with their solutions, their pharmakia, and their geoengineering. So the fact that the day is short is a fact that Yah is with us, and he's speeding up the clock, because the other team, Satan and his minions, are panicking because they know the time. Let's not forget, when Yahusha walked into the graveyard where the man had the legion of demons, the demons cried out at him and said, have you come to torment us before our time? Meaning they have cognition of when their time is done. They have retained a time frame when they know that they'll have no more time to destroy man, the Most High's creation, and this beautiful earth he created, because that's all they're doing is destroying it. It's like somebody saying, I'll blow this whole thing up before I give it to you. And that's exactly what's happening, because they refuse to bow down to the Most High's creation, and never liked him, and they're upset that they did not get a second chance. It's like when the Watchers fell, they pleaded with Enoch to go back to the Most High and say, give us another chance. But they had done so much damage, there was no other chance for them. They slept with Most High's creations, animals, the women. They created Nephilim. They created the fake dinosaurs and all types of hybrid creatures, and they destroyed the genetic presence of certain plants and the earth. All they want to do is destroy, bring forth destruction. That's all they're good for. I think I have it right here. Chapter 15 says, Enoch, the 15th chapter, said in the 8th verse, and now the giants who are produced from the spirits and flesh shall be called evil spirits upon the earth, and on the earth shall be their dwelling. Evil spirits have proceeded from their bodies, because they are born from men, and from the holy watchers is their beginning and primal origin. They shall be evil spirits on earth, and evil spirits shall they be called. Verse 10, as for the spirits of heaven, in heaven shall be their dwelling. That's Enoch 39, the righteous that have gone on, that are interceding for us to make it through. But as for the spirits of the earth, which were born upon the earth, on the earth shall be their dwelling. And the spirits of the giants, the Nephilim, the demons, the children of the watchers who messed up and slept with women, changed their first estate. Guess what they do? Verse 11, afflict, oppress, destroy, attack, do battle, and work destruction on the earth and cause trouble. And they take no food, but nevertheless, they hunger and thirst and cause offenses, and these spirits shall rise up against the children of men, us, and against the women. That's why you need a covering, woman. They incubus, succubus coming at you at night, because they have proceeded from them. You know, the demon spirits have a thing to want to destroy women. That's why we're having so much problems with the Jezebel spirit right now. You're being super attacked to be an instrument of lust and destruction and rape. And it's why, because the spirits are mad, because they come from you. These demonic spirits, they have a vendetta. Here's the good news. Listen to what the Most High told these fallen watchers that slept with the women and taught them all types of devices, working of metals and, war, fighting, cosmetics, lust, winking of the eye. The Most High told them in chapter 16, verse 3, you were in heaven at one time, but all the mysteries had not yet been revealed to you, because I knew what you were going to do. He said, you knew the worthless things, and these in the hardness of your hearts you have made known to the women. And through these mysteries, women and men work much evil on earth because of what the fallen angels taught. witchcraft they taught, all of that stuff, gematria, working with numbers, spells, pharmakia, uh, ritual sex, homosexual sex, bestiality. That's just the 200 watchers that took all types of wives and slept with them. Let's not forget the third of the fallen angels that were here before they fell. There's a time frame. The third of the fallen angels are the ones who created these Tartarias and Atlantis. They had their own civilization before Adam was put here and told to be fruitful and multiply. There was the fallen who were not in the same celestial state and same bodies. They came on and took on different types of bodies and reproduced. Nobody wants to talk about this. Adam, Eve, their children, all that, they had to deal with those spirits and these demons that were existent. But that's for another time. That wasn't supposed to be my lesson. This is so the magnitude. Well, I can give you good news. This is about to come to an end. These people that are in power right now are in communication with these fallen ones. They have manifested to these people and they give them instructions. Revelation 13 tells you that the beast, that's that dude from Mar-a-Lago who had the fake Ark of the Covenant in his place. His power comes from the dragon. That means he's had supper with Hashatan, Satan. And he's the one that's given him power to overcome every trial, jury case, rape, molestation of women, talks of molesting his daughter, and being a felon and still can get in office. His power comes from him. Can walk in another country and negotiate and come out with the victory, and everybody bowing down and fearful of him. The power's coming from Satan. It says the dragon in Revelation 13. And then it says he gives his power to the false prophet who can cause fire to come down from the sky. And we see who's doing that right now. X, does that ring a bell for anybody? People, you aren't discerning the scriptures. It's being fulfilled right in front of our faces. You don't want to believe it. Man, such denial. People are in denial about what they did to their temples. And they're like, prove it. To those who have been on this narrow path, that have the testicular fortitude to avoid the solution, which is a part of the infrastructure of the patented crypto system. The patent that says WD 060606, yeah, that one. The one that will allude back to Revelations 13 and 14 that you won't be able to buy or sell. Yeah, that one. To you who are enduring and staying on the straight and narrow, continue. Don't get weary in well doing. Isaiah, the 43rd chapter. Let's move into that. But now thus saith the Most High that created thee, O Jacob, and he that formed thee, O Yasharal, fear not, for I have redeemed thee. I have called thee by thy name. Names make a difference. Thou art mine. We belong to him. We've already been paid for. And believe it or not, you're already MC Hammer song. Can't touch this. You're sealed up. You've got to have faith and know that and not doubt that if you're complying with what the Most High said. That's the dietary laws, the governmental laws of the kingdom, the laws that have to do with how you treat your family, your brother. I'm talking about your spiritual family right now, because many of you have lost families. I know I have family members, because this walk is a narrow road, a lonely walk, and we look antiquated for keeping the rules. Extreme conservatism. too extreme for them. We've been already redeemed. Do you know Enoch, the 39th chapter, talks about, I talked about this 2 weeks ago. We're here, but spiritually we're in heavenly places because the veil of the temple's been ripped away. And we can boldly approach the throne through worship, song, singing, jubilance, and prayer. And Enoch said it in the 39th chapter. I can't even get past Isaiah 43. I already taught on this, so you can go back and look at it, but it says right here in Enoch 39, those who sleep not bless thee, and they stand before thy glory and bless, praise, and extol, saying, holy, holy, holy is Yahuwah of spirits. He filleth the earth with spirits. Enoch saw in a vision those who were still alive, were before the throne simultaneously in the spirit, worshiping and praising. When you worship and praise and give thanks and have a heart full of gratitude and make songs, make joy, you are before the presence of God. He said, where there are 2 or 3 gathered together in my name, I'm in the midst. And that's all it takes. You people that are scared to not be in a camp or to lose fellowship because you can't stand alone, you're never alone. There's angels with you. He even said in verse 13, here my eyes saw all those who sleep not. They stand before him and bless and say, blessed be thou, and blessed be the name. Because I can't explain it to you. What's going to be already is. That's in Ecclesiastes. They're outside of time when they leave the firmament. The fact that we're already in the book, we can exist out of time in the spirit, because the spirit is not confined to time. Enoch was seeing this in the spirit. He said, my eyes saw all those who are not asleep, haven't passed. They actually are standing before him already, because it's a done deal of what I just read in Isaiah 43:1. I have redeemed thee. I have called thee by thy name. Thou art mine, and nobody can take out of the Most High's hands what is his. Satan can't come get you. They'll try to do what Enoch, the 15th chapter said, afflict, cause issues and problems. But after you've done all you can to stand, you got to stand anyway. And the joy of Yahuwah is our strength. Back to Isaiah 43:2. When thou passest, listen to this closely. For those going through all these geo-engineered storms, when thou passest through the waters, I will be with thee, floods, and through the rivers, they shall not overflow thee. When thou walkest through the fire, Cali, thou shalt not be burnt. People running for their lives through those tall flames. Neither shall the flame kindle upon thee. For I am Yahuwah thy Elohim, the Holy One of Yasharah, thy Savior. I gave Egypt for thy ransom, and Ethiopia and Seba for thee. Since thou wast precious in my sight, thou hast been honorable, and I have loved thee. Therefore will I give men for thee and people for thy life. This is why you don't be fearful when you understand who you are in his eyesight. We are a chosen people. The realization has not set in the whole earth yet to the other nations and people, but they're about to find out soon. Let me say this real quick. It's no wonder that some of these Gentiles are discerning and seeing things, because this is the time of the Gentiles. And when the fullness of the Gentiles is complete, then we'll see the end, because there is a remnant of them that will come in, that they will be our possession. And that's Amos, the 9th chapter. It makes it clear that there's a remnant that will serve, not be your slave. It's not going to be like that. And not in the inner court will they come into those inner courts, because there is only one chosen family, and there are too many promises he's issued for that chosen family. Let's go back to it. He said, since thou wast precious in my sight, verse 4, thou hast been honorable and I have loved thee. That's what I want you to know. He loves us. Therefore will I give men for thee and people for thy life. Verse 5, fear not, I am with thee. When you listen to that and go back to verse 2 about the floods, the rivers, the fires, he's saying, fear not, I am with thee. I will bring thy seed from the east and gather thee from the west. Do you understand? Ayah just said, yeah. That's what I am is in the Hebrew. It's not Haya. That's a made up word. The only word that exists in the Hebrew is Haya. It's yeah, is I am in the Hebrew tongue. He said, I'm going to gather your seed. That's us. That's a remote generation because this prophecy was during the time of the children of Israel by Isaiah. He said, I'm going to bring your seed because it was a prophecy being fulfilled that we're going to be scattered to the four corners of the earth throughout the east and the west. But he's promising that he's going to do it. You're getting ready to, you're being sensitized, not desensitized. The world's trying to desensitize you. You're being sensitized to prepare for something phenomenal to be gathered. He said the second Exodus will be greater than the first. The first was so great that all the plagues that came upon them, it was to the point where it took all these plagues and there was death and all kinds of things before the people finally let us go. You know, you got people wanting to go back to their own countries now. And guess who has no country to go back to? But yet they won't let us go because of, they know who we are and they don't want to let us go for financial reasons, gain reasons, protection reasons. They know who our power is. You got to have faith. That's why he said, when I come back, will I find faith in the earth? Will I find it? Verse 5. He's going to gather us from the east and the west. Verse 6, he said, I will say to the north, give up, and to the south, keep not back. Bring my sons from far and my daughters from the ends of the earth. There is a paradigm shift in the spirit that took place at that time of the inauguration. And there's going to be a drastic shift when he speaks from heaven and says, gather them and bring them back. You're going to have to do like Lot did with his family. And check this out. Lot left his daughters that were married to those men that didn't want to leave, that wanted to stay in that city. He only came out with 2 daughters and a wife, and the wife looked back. But can you imagine? They were wealthy people and they had to leave everything they had. There's a strong possibility, because Matthew tells us, and the book of Luke, that it will be like the days of Lot and the days of Noah before the coming of Yahushua HaMashiach. So there's a strong possibility that you're going to have to either walk away or you'll be taken away supernaturally and divinely to go into the wilderness during the second Exodus, right before impending doom and destruction falls upon this place. And the firmament is cracked open and the Messiah comes back to destroy. I've taught on this many times, but you really have to analyze Lot's wife. The only reason she looked back is because she was walking away from 2 children, family, memories, loved ones, wealth, the peace and safety that they had while they were there. But everything all around them was falling apart. Get your minds right, people. Verse 7, even everyone that is called by my name. That's why it's so important for us to know his name. If my people who are called by my name. So it's another reason why they changed the names during the slave trade, because they want to hide the fact of our names having his name within the name. And then they changed all the names in the book. Isaiah is Yasha, Yah. Yasha, Yah is the Hebrew pronunciation for Isaiah. Yishi, Yah. That's what it was. It goes on with, it wasn't John. It's an English name. It was Yakanan. What, no, Matthew. It was Matin Yahu. I digress. Even everyone that is called by my name, for I have created him for my glory, and I have formed him. Yea, I have made him. There's people around you that aren't human and not created by the Most High. And you best believe, you don't want to believe it, but the reptilian thing, the clone thing, all that stuff is real. You better know it. You better know it. I just told you there was a civilization of the third of the fallen angels who could not get back into heaven and lost their celestial bodies and changed into something else. And they're still around. And then there's Nephilim, because you best believe they had interbred with the creation of Yah. Verse 8 says, bring forth the blind people that have eyes. That's an allegory. And the deaf that have ears. Let all the nations be gathered together, and let the people be assembled, who among them can declare this and show us former things. Let them bring forth their witnesses, that they may be justified, or let them hear and say it is true. The Most High is saying this: you are my witnesses. Who is he in reference to? You commandment keepers, you that keep the covenant, the Sabbath, that keep his holy days, the remnant that he remains to be alive, that will serve him properly, that aren't caught up in paganism and worshiping wood and stone. The time of blinking at ignorance has passed. It's over. There's no more excuse. That's why I'm so hard about the name. I'm not playing with that name. You're still teaching people in that name. You're holding fast to Christianity. Every time you say that name, people think about the cross, Christianity, and the religion. He says that I have chosen that ye may know and believe me and understand that I am he. And before me, there was no God formed. In other words, there was no Elohim formed, neither shall there be after me. Even I am the Most High. And beside me, there is no Savior. That's deep. Just do a Selah pause on that. Mm-hmm. I have declared and have saved, and I have showed when there was no strange Yah among you. Therefore, ye are my witnesses, saith Yahuwah, that I am the Most High. Verse 13, yea, before the day was, I am he, and there is none that can deliver out of my hand. There it is right there. I told you, if you're his, you're his. You already belong to him. It's already sealed up. Newsflash, if you are inclined with joy and gratitude and obedience to keep these commandments and this Shabbat, he called you from the beginning of the world. It's just like Job. He knew you would be his and that you would be obedient, even though he gave you free will. That's outside of the confines of thought process and time. I know it's hard to understand, which is why we walk by faith, and the just shall live by faith. And without faith, it's impossible to please Yah. I have declared and have saved, and I have showed when there was no strange power among you. Therefore, you are my witnesses, said the Most High. Verse 14, thus said Yahuwah, your Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. For your sake, I have sent to Babylon and have brought down. You know what? I'm not going to detail. Let me pause for a second. You Yashuralites have been fighting over the separation or the oneness of the Son and the Father. And I'm not about to put bait out there in the conversation. This ignorance, it's to deter you. You see what I'm reading and what it's saying. With your discernment, you can discern what's being said. Do you know that the Son is the Word of Yah, and he's the Word made flesh? And he said that he doesn't even know when it'll be time to come back and redeem Yasharel. He'll be given a command and given the power to do so. And then he gets to reign for 1,000 years. And then after that 1,000 years, our Father will dwell amongst us. Because after the 1,000 years, don't forget that Satan will be, and here's another nugget for you. After the 1,000 years, Satan will be loosed for a little season, and he will start enticing the other nations to turn on us again. Guess who those other nations are? The ones in Amos that we brought into captivity that come with us. He's not going to be able to mess with us. He's going to be destroyed in an instant as soon as he does it. But I can see the jealousy he will produce amongst the other nations that realize that we are the people and that we're in this chosen place right now. Those are the people, those Gentiles who make it through that to the millennial kingdom will be seduced when Satan is unleashed for a short season after the 1,000 years. But that's another lesson. 14. Thus said Yahuwah, your Redeemer, the Holy One of Yasharal, for your sake I have sent to Babylon and have brought down all their nobles and the Chaldeans whose cry is in the ships. I am Yahuwah, your Holy One, the Creator of Yasharal, your King. Thus said Yahuwah, which maketh the way in the sea and a path in the mighty waters. What? He maketh the way in the sea and a path in the mighty waters, which bringeth forth the chariot and horse, the army and the power. They shall lie down together, they shall not rise. They are extinct, they are quenched as tow. Remember ye not the former things, neither consider the things of old. Now, that's big because that's talking about you need to exist. He said, don't keep remembering the former things. We're not to even reflect. That's Lot's wife. That's looking back. Neither consider the things of old. There's going to be a time where he's going to want us to be prepared for what he's getting ready to do in the now. And that really should be a part of your life as every day unfolds in the now. Everything around you in media and social media is designed to get you to long for a time long. Most of the music is designed to get you to reminisce. Most of the holidays are from you reminiscing. This is why so many people lament the dead and get into African witchcraft and Orisha, because they're trying to hold on to the spirits, the ancestors that have gone already. It's a trap. We're being told here, remember ye not the former things, neither consider the things of old. 19, why? Behold, I will do a new thing. He's going to do something brand new. He said, now it shall spring forth. This is prophetic. Shall ye not know it? I will even make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. He's talking about when he did it the first time, that's extinct. He's saying, I'm going to do it again. Verse 20, the beasts of the field shall honor me, the dragons and the owls, because I give waters in the wilderness and rivers in the desert to give drink to my people, my chosen. There are a people that are chosen. It ain't the church. No, there are a people, a seed line. I got news for you. What you thought was warp speed with your current king, if you take the P off of warp, you got war. If you take the P out of speed, you got seed. War against the seed is what happened. Genetic modification. I digress. Verse 22, but thou hast not called upon me, O Jacob, but thou hast been weary of me, O Yasharal. Thou hast not brought me small cattle of thy burnt offerings. We don't do that no more. Neither hast thou honored me with sacrifices, and I have not ceased to serve you. He's still looking out for us. With an offering, nor wearied thee with incense. I got some incense burning. It's unto the Most High. Verse 24, thou hast bought me no sweet cane with money, neither hast thou filled me with the fat of thy sacrifices, but thou hast made me to serve with thy sins. Thou hast wearied me with thine iniquities. We are wearing the Most High out with our sinful ways. We are in sinful ways. This is why he's going to gather all of Israel, but you're going up under the rod, and 2/3 of our people will be destroyed because they will not comply, even when he gathers them. All of Israel shall be saved, given an opportunity. I already talked about this, but not the ones that are in contract agreements and that have already sold their souls to the industry and the devil in this world, this earth. Are in contract. A lot of you people don't even understand Isaiah 26, Isaiah 23, it may be, talks about you being in marital contractual agreements with heathenous Gentiles, not going nowhere. That went out of your race and nation because you loathed your nation and wanted to be like this other nation. So you paired yourself with that nation to produce a different type seed that changed the nation. I want my baby to have good hair. I digress. Verse 25, he said, I'm just saying all kind of stuff on the side. I am he that blotteth out thy transgressions. There it is there. He's saying, look, when I put you in the wilderness, I'm going to blot out your transgressions for my own sake. And I will not remember thy sins. Verse 25 is so packed. He's saying, I'm going to bring you out and I'm going to cleanse y'all because y'all been in sin. I'm going to blot out these transgressions that you made, things that you were doing as you were in this captivity, this final captivity. And then he tells us after verse 25, in verse 26, he said, put me in remembrance and let us plead together. This pleading together in verse 26 is the same as Ezekiel, the 20th chapter, where he says he's going to take us into the wilderness, and there he will plead with us face to face so that he can blot out our transgressions. And there's only a third that will come through this, and he's going to be willing to forgive. It's a day of atonement. It's the Moedim from Leviticus 23, the trumpet, Feast of Trumpets, that's the return of the Messiah, and then atonement, that's him pleading with us and atoning for the sins, the ones that will make it the third, and then tabernacles. That is the Messiah dwelling amongst us. While he's pleading with us, there's 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter, where the Messiah is over there putting his foot down on Mount Zion and destroying the world, the unrighteous, the wicked, the sinners, as we see prophesied in Esdras, Zechariah, Zephaniah, Amos, everywhere. So while they getting a can of whoop put on them, we getting pleaded with by the Father face to face to blot us out as his people because he wants to have a clean bride. And let me tell you something else about the 2/3 being destroyed. Don't forget about those who think they ready as brides, and 5 had lamps with no oil in it. They didn't make it in either. There's so many parables and examples of you having to be ready for the return of the Messiah. Not that it's coming like a thief in the night, because he said we would know. 1 Thessalonians 5:3 also tells us. But the fact of the matter is that you daily have to keep yourself right and repent daily. You got to cast down imaginations and check yourself and check your flesh and stay in praise and worship and get rid of unforgiveness and bitterness and stop looking backwards and stop being hard on yourself and keep your eyes and ears away from this garbage and have discernment to know how to walk in the Spirit. Verse 26, when he says, put me in remembrance, do you know that's a form of prayer? He's telling you how to pray right there. We're supposed to remind him of the promises of the scriptures when we pray. That's what prayer is. Put me in remembrance and let us plead together. Declare thou that thou mayest be justified. Put him in remembrance. If you want to be justified, declare it. You said this and you promised this, and we did this. He's your father. Oh my God, I'm getting ahead of myself. Verse 27, thy first father. He's talking about the teachers and your first have transgressed against the Most High. He knows that he gave us over to the curse to close out the rest of this chapter. And he knows that he gave us over to the reproaches. And he knew that we were going through it. He knew we would have the Willie Lynch curses on us. He knew we would have PTSD. He's going to be willing to forgive and blot out. But our people are so wicked through the discourse of the curses that they have made allegiances with this world. They don't want to stop. And unfortunately, as we heard someone saying this morning, some of them can't stop because they've sold their souls and they've been cursed by drug addiction, possessed by demons, and sold themselves over to it, and made a decision instead of putting him in remembrance of the promises, made a conscious decision to go the other route. So the Father's merciful. He knows what we're going through. And if you receive that mercy and grace, you will comply by keeping these commandments with joy every day and not be worried what's around you, what's next to you, because Psalms 91 says 1,000 at thy left, 10,000 at thy right are going to fall. Stop tripping on how your family's treating you, how your children treating you. Just walk forward and know that the Father knows what's happening and he's in control of all things. And he has a desired end for you, one of joy and peace. He's going to dry your eyes of all tears once you get into this kingdom. You just don't worry and fret. We just read in Isaiah 43 and 2. And when you walk through these floods, these fires, I've already in 1 year gone through tornado, hurricane, and snow.
Heavy rains.
And flood, yes. There's people going through earthquakes, famines, loss of jobs, crying babies, kids, sickness, in and out of the hospital, in and out of the emergency room. He knows what's happening. And this is a sifting process, and this is a walking through the fire, and we got to go through it, and we got to be tried in the fire. You got to prove yourself. For Yah I'll live, for Yah I'll die. When you're alive, you're with him. You can go before his glory. And for those that have moved on and they got their chambers, their rest, their place, they are in profound peace. They're not tripping. They're just praying that you make it through and overcome. All right, I'm going to stop talking. The only for sure obstacle to truth is to think that you already have it, because truth is a journey and not a destination. Shabbat Shalom, Kwam Yasharala. We will get through this, and keep studying. Keep watching Revelations and Daniel, 10th, 11th chapter be fulfilled. Watch all this stuff. And then keep your eyes on the prize. Peace and blessings.